God, I had myself muted. So we already know how this night's gonna go. I changed the live because I have no plan. I was just watching hella excited utterance and going down the rabbit hole of the dumpster fire that is Laura Matthias and Jesus fucking Christ. So I streamed with Crusha, difficult research. The other, yeah, it's a free for all, crack is whack, exactly. Hi Wayne. I streamed with her the other night, and the most hateful people that support hidden true crime that went after her in her chat while I was there. And we all know that I have no breaks and I scuff for people and fuck those bitches. That's what I say. There was a woman that came in there and the people in her comments and stuff. I mean, she has a lot of support, more support than she does the hateful hoes, but like it's one thing to like hate on a YouTube creator. It's another thing to hate on a victim crime victim's family where like their real loved ones were unalived and these people supposedly followed the case for umpteen years and they would come on screen, they'd be like, oh, I'm so excited that you have Kay and Larry Woodcock on, God love them, praise them, and then all of a sudden they come out with what happened to them with these shitty ass YouTubers, and all of a sudden they're the enemy. Fucking miss me with that. Not no, not on my watch. And it makes me want to just continue to expose these people. Um, I'll tell you what, I was gonna do the Nancy Guthrie update, which I still might pull up some Brian Enton, but my God, that case, like it is so wild to me that the police are keep swatting in the middle of the night, and they've had 5 people detained, yet no one's been arrested yet. The whole thing is just mind-boggling to me. I don't understand it. I don't understand like TMZ getting all these ransom notes. Like, why is TMZ getting them? Why are they putting them out? It just feels hoaxy to me. I don't think it's a hoax um that Nancy Guthrie's gone. I think it's a hoax, like the the notes and the detainments and all of this. Scott, if you're still in here, the police investigation, the Prim County Sheriff seems like a wackadoodle. And people are like, oh, yeah. Oh, crack is whack. Let's get into it. Hold on. So this is frightening because I have kids in my life that play hockey, and he's at rinks all the time at all different hours playing all different freaking teams, and there's a domestic dispute in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, which is right over the border. Hold on, let me find it. Pawtucket, Rhode Island shooting. Here we go. Oh my God, honey. Oh my God. It's terrible. So, hey, Christine. It's good to see you, mama. Um, so like I have nephews and everything that play hockey. I have brothers that still play in adult leagues. I've played hockey my whole life, go into these rinks. People, if you are in hockey, if you play hockey, you are dedicated. You are at these rinks all the time. And all of a sudden it comes up on my news feed that there was a mass shooting at a rink about, I don't know, 25 minutes, 30 minutes from my home, that I've had family members play at multiple times. It's frightening. And there was kids ran over to a bodega across the street apparently and told the worker and hid there because they were so scared. I cannot. People are so scary. Crack is whack. Hold on.
It was senior night inside that hockey rink with teams from several schools.
Hold on here. God. Here we go. Let me know if you guys can't hear it. It says, I saw a video of the daughter for the shooter coming out of the police station. Really? Oh my God. All right. So this is it. This was a mass shooting, allegedly a family related shooting. Multiple people dead, multiple people hurt, and the children.
It was senior night inside that hockey rink with teams from several schools who were playing there this afternoon. WBZ's Paul Burton continues our live team coverage in Pawtucket. And Paul, so many students, so many fans. You talked with a player who was actually on when the fire started.
Olin Lawrence is the goalie. He was actually on the ice when he heard that gunfire. He said, I thought it was just balloons going off. But shortly after that, he realized this was the real thing. I'm here on Broad Street in Pawtucket, and behind me is where some of the players came out of and then huddled near a mini mart that was right by here. We saw some just overwhelming video of players running into this mini mart right here on.
This is the bodega I was talking about, that kids literally ran from the ice rink and hid inside the bodega for them to call the police. Like, kids, the way kids have to live these days is so sad. Like, does everybody have to be on guard everywhere they go? Like, your kids aren't even safe going to like their school hockey game. And families are the ones bugging. Right? Then it's not the boogeyman, it's people you know.
On Broad Street, reuniting with their families. Just an overwhelming sense, hugging each other. Could not believe that this was actually happening. Olin Lawrence is a 16-year-old hockey player, has been playing hockey all his life. He was on the ice when this happened. He said he heard the gunshots, he fell to the ground, and then all of a sudden, all the players quickly ran away into the locker room. Let's hear what he had to say just a moment ago.
We pressed against the door and just tried to stay safe down in there. But no, it was very scary. We were very nervous. So, yeah, it was very scary.
Where did the shots come from? Do you know?
Yeah, it was the far side. So I was on the, like, where the Zamboni is. It was the far side of the building, on the opposing side's bench. Yeah, it was scary. It was a lot of shots.
Oh, 2136.
I think I heard 14.
Did you see where the people who were shot
I
were?
did not see. I was so nervous. I went down and then I ran.
So you don't know if it was any players or if it was people in the stands?
I think it was someone in the stands, but I don't know.
Were you guys on the ice again?
I was on the ice, yes.
The game was underway?
Yes, it was on, yeah.
And then just tell me again where you guys went after. What did you
I went to the locker room. I was scared. I went right to the locker room and hid and bunkered down.
What did you hear?
I mean, I heard gunshots and I was.
There's a suspect, 2 victims are dead, 3 were wounded in a high school hockey tournament in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, right over the Massachusetts border. People are fucked.
I was just trying to hunker down. When I went in the locker room, I heard no gunshots, but I was just after I was in the locker room, I didn't hear anything.
How many gunshots did you hear?
I don't know exactly. I heard about, like, it was a lot. I really didn't know. About like 13-ish. I don't know.
Showing amazing composure there, Olin Lawrence, only 16 years old, been playing hockey for so many years. You're watching video now of him, of Olin and his teammates going into this mini mart, hugging one another, embracing one another, and then trying to reunite with their families. Again, this is all a complete and utter shock to all of these players. It's amazing how well Olin composed himself in that interview. He was just, this just happened, and he's trying to wrap his head around this. He was here for a hockey game, a sport that he loves to play his entire life. And then now everything has changed. He goes, he's seen these things on the news happen, but now he's saying, I'm living this, and it's overwhelming. He says tonight he's going to go home. He's going to reunite with the rest of his family and his girlfriend. He's thankful that none of his mates were injured in this incident, but he knows there's going to be a lot of healing that needs to take place and a lot of counseling, because this is just overwhelming. These people came to play a hockey game, and then gunfire erupts and just terror everywhere. And these players did their best they can to run for help, run for cover, and stay safe. Live in Pawtucket, I'm Paul Burton, WBZ News.
How fucking tragic. Yeah, where's DePietro when you need him? No, he's in Arizona doing the Guthrie investigation with Dolly. Okay, with Dolly. Yeah, Junker Blade hide the hot dog with JLR. Yeah, JLR, Dolly, and him. I heard DePietro. I had JLR on listening to, because he's out there 18 hours a day. I was listening to it. He had DePietro trying to tell him where to go. I was like, Jesus Christ, he doesn't even know what he's getting himself into with him. So this is so scary, guys. So scary. Like, what is happening? Hold on. I have another one. This just came out. 39 minutes ago about the Pawtucket, Rhode Island shooting. So this was a high school hockey tournament where there's probably kids all over the region, right? All over the area. And you go and it's elimination. Wait, a trans dad? Wait, one of the people were trans? What do you mean trans dad? Explain yourself, crack.
Now, breaking news.
We begin at 7 with breaking news we've been following in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. A shooter opened fire at an ice rink during a high school hockey game, sparking mass panic inside and a massive response from police. Tonight, 3 people are dead, including the suspected shooter. Good evening. I'm Glenn Jones.
I'm JC Monahan. 3 other people were injured and are listed in critical condition. It all unfolded shortly before 2:30 this afternoon at the Dennis M. Lynch Arena in Pawtucket. Tonight, we have new details about what led up to the shooting and how police responded.
Right now, live team coverage in Pawtucket. Let's begin with NBC 10's Oscar Margain.
I gotta be funny for a second. Can we all just go to TB News? I will. It's Pawtucket. It's not Pawtucket. What is happening? Oh my God! After this, I'm gonna pull it up right now. As we're watching this, Jesus Christ, what is happening over at TB News? Oh my God!
Game.
Hey, Glenn and JC, yes, and I'm standing here on Broad Road, or Broad Street, rather. You can see the yellow police tape blocking off the access to that arena. What you're seeing right here is the back of that ice rink where the shooting took place at around 2:30 or just before 2:30 this afternoon, and it's where the shooter opened fire, killing 2 people, injuring 3 others before turning the gun on themselves. One of the victims died at the scene. Another person died at a hospital, while the 3 others remain hospitalized in critical condition. Now, police believe this may have been a targeted event stemming from a family dispute, but authorities note that this is still under investigation. The shooting was captured on video during the hockey game between Blackstone Valley and Coventry schools. Now, we can't show you that video, but I can describe it for you. You can hear at least 12 to 15 gunshots at that moment at the arena inside, and it took a couple of rounds here before coaches, players, and spectators started to react to the gunfire and began to duck. Now, everybody started to rush out of the ice rink in a panic. Some of them went into a mini mart just around the corner right here from that arena. Now, Coventry School said all of their students are safe and accounted for. We also were able to talk to the Pawtucket Police Chief and Mayor earlier today. This is what they had to say. Take a listen.
The Pawtucket Police received a call at about 2:28, 2:30 this afternoon that we had an active shooter at Lynch Arena. Upon arrival, police were met with several people, obviously inside the arena, and there was 2 casualties within the arena. The suspect was confirmed as one of those casualties. Later on, we learned that another casualty from the shooting was at the hospital, that they succumbed to their injuries after being at the hospital. And there was 3 additional victims at the hospital that all are in critical condition at this time.
It is very tragic, right? You're thinking about, these are high school kids that were doing an event. They were playing, with their families, watching fun time, and it turned into this. So it's got to be traumatic.
And this is another live look here at the scene. There are still ambulances and also, or rather a fire truck and also police here still blocking the area and access as they continue to collect evidence here in this shooting. Now, again, 3 people have died as a result, 3 others in critical condition at the hospital. The identities of both the victims and the shooter have not been revealed. We're hoping to get that information sometime between tonight and tomorrow, authorities said. So we'll make sure to stay on top of it and provide you with the latest. Reporting live from Pawtucket, Rhode Island, Oscar Morgaine, NBC 10 Boston.
We know you'll stay on it, Oscar. Thanks.
Oh my God. I found the article. Hold on. Let me see. Let me share it. Can y'all see it? Why can't I make it bigger? Anyway, I'll read it. It says sources are reporting that the person who shut up a hockey game in Pawtucket today, killing 3 people, is a transgender dad who goes by Roberta Esposito. What? This is going to be a popsicle headache for some people, but he appears to be a diehard Trump supporter who has been warning other conservatives on Twitter not to badmouth trans people. This guy's confused. Just yesterday, he warned real Alex Jones that we, the transgender people, are going to go berserk if people keep bashing men like him. I'll have more to say on this later. The alleged Pawtucket mass shooter says he got the surgery, but that other trans people are commie assholes who don't speak for him, and he loves Trump. John DePietro is missing the story of his lifetime in his backyard because he's playing hide and go seek with JLR in the desert. I fucking can't. I cannot. What is going on? Oh, Amber, it's always a pleasure, honey. Jay and Hall, local celebrity. Hello to all the ladies in the place with style and grace. Allow me to lay. I mean, are you gonna make me rap? I missed my calling. Jay from Hall. Amber, it's always a pleasure. I saw you over at Hella. That shit's wild too. I was talking about it in the beginning. Now there was a mass shooting in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, which is right over the border of Massachusetts, and apparently it was a Trump supporting transgender dad that goes by Roberta Esposito. Well, oh my God. You know, not for nothing, like I have nothing against anybody. Like I live however you want to live, right? But it's this type of thing that makes people have the preconceived notions of how people are, right? Why is okay, fine, you can hate people, but do you think those high school kids that were scared out of their mind with 3 people dead, including himself, he turned the gun on himself, and other people hurt, like were they your problem? Were they your problem, sir? Inquiring minds want to know. Inquiring minds want to fucking know if those high school kids were your problem, because I doubt it. Get off X. Stop looking for trouble. This is what's wrong with people. They go and look for trouble when they're mentally ill. I'm not saying that trans people are mentally ill. I'm saying this man is mentally ill. They go and look for the haters to rile themselves up, and then they end up in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, shooting up a high school hockey tournament with kids that did nothing to them. Apparently, they're saying that it was domestic, that it was family involved, but you didn't go to that house and do it. You went to a hockey tournament, lighting up the entire. What do those kids do to you? You scarred them for life, sir. And I hate to say it, but I'm not upset that he turned the gun on himself. You know, do the world a favor. Anywho, I'll tell you how I really feel. Yeah, so that's wild. More to come. It'll be interesting to hear Turtle Boy's take on it. He's John DePietro. I mean, Mr. DePietro is missing his claim to fame moment in the whole thing. I just it makes me so sad. Like, why can't people just keep kids out of it? You know, Why do you have to go ruin little kids' minds because of like personal shit that has nothing to do with them, right? Because if you, I don't know about you guys, I've been to a ton of hockey tournaments. Those things are fucking packed. You can barely find a seat. There's different schools, there's different teams, different families. What does it say? Changes. Yeah. Oh, hey, making. It's always a good to see you, baby. Cumberland, Rhode Island, and room. Come suck it. Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say that, but I forgot. Thank you, Jay. Yeah. Didn't you know that Cumberland and Woonsocket are merging? It's gonna become suck it. Yeah. I don't call you to my bedroom. You do what you want on your own. I've had many friends who are gay and lesbian, and you know what? That's their business. Some have been great for, yeah, 100%. I have nothing against trans. I have nothing against trans. I have nothing against gay. I have gay. That's not it. But like what I'm talking about is like mental illness, and then you're the conservative, like the far right, always wants to blame everything on trans this and trans that. But then you have a trans man who is a Trump supporter, who is clearly a conservative, right? Who's not on the side who it's so convoluted and messy. I have nothing against them, but when you're trying to do it, when you're trying to prove people wrong, this just solidifies what the conservative far right people think. There's a lot of problems with parents on both sides. Yeah. Yep. My boys played hockey for many years. It gets crazy. It sure does. It sure does. They're saying it was domestic, though. I figured out my roommate was gay when his dick tastes like I can't. I have two gay. Yeah, I have two. One of my best friends are gay. It's not about being gay. I hope it didn't come across that way. I love lesbians. Andar, hello, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're from. I have nothing. There's nothing wrong with gays. There's nothing wrong with trans people. There's nothing wrong with however you want to live your life, right? But what I'm saying is that this guy seemed real confused. And clearly, if he's going to go into a hockey rink during a hockey tournament, there's something wrong with him. And it's not the trans, right? But if you're a conservative Trump supporter who is also trans, that the far right conservative people don't particularly care for, and you're going into a school event, a high school hockey tournament, and shooting it up, you're just proving their point, right? Right. It's like, come on, listen, I'm libertarian. I do not claim either side. I think they're all fucking wackadoodles. All of them. They're all wackadoodles. I love lesbians, me too. I love lesbian bars. Lesbians love me too. So there's that. So let's get in a little bit to the Nancy Guthrie case. Apparently, kids, her family has been said that they are not at hold on. I'm trying to find something. Ryan Ensign. Nancy Guthrie update. All right. Hold on here, kids. So apparently they do not think that maybe it's News Nation. Hold on. It's News Nation. News Nation. All right, here we go. Here we go, kids. Here we go. This poor woman. Too. It's like, all the fiascos going on with all the creators down there. They're doing oh, hold on. Hold on. This. Okay. Sorry. I was I was trying to figure out what we're gonna watch next. Nancy Guthrie, they're saying that all of her family were cleared, that they have DNA and they're putting it through like the Koberger case, you know how they put it through the the genealogy DNA CODIS, or however you want to say, they're putting it through that, and that all of the family has been cleared. So if the family's cleared, I have been running under the assumption that there had to have been a situation where Nancy had to have known these people, right? Why? How are you going to go up to an 84-year-old woman's door and look like you belong there and not know her? Okay, fine. Family's cleared. Good. At least we know. At least they say that. However, then who did it and where is she? There was a situation that there was like pizza being delivered to this woman's door before the scene was cleared. There was a situation where they had pool cleaners. Like why was there pool cleaners? Can someone riddle me that? Can someone riddle me that? Why were the pool cleaners before the site was actually like turned over to the family? There was pizza delivered. Apparently it was for JLR. Okay. It was for JLR, but it got sent to the door and they allowed it. And then there's, we're going to listen to this. This is News Nation, and it says FBI visits gun store with person ID list in Nancy Guthrie's investigation. This was an hour ago. I hope the sheriff is correct. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Calypso, it's good to see you. I love people who I love, period. Thank you, Hada. Thank you. I said Hada. Smada. I'm a lesbian trapped in a man's body. I love who I love. I have no it's not about, this is the thing, it's not about gay and lesbian. But my point is that it comes down to the fact that he is trans. It's like, that's why people go off the fucking deep end saying all these trans folk are killers. They're not. There's nothing wrong with them. Yeah, the police fucked up the investigation from the start. I believe that. I hope the sheriff is correct because it's been investigation. It has been all over the place. Yeah. Love is love, no matter what the body parts are. Amen. Amen. Like men and women. If you have to know. Here we go. All right. God, my StreamYard is like trash right now.
Search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie is now in its new this afternoon. The Pima County Sheriff has officially cleared the entire Guthrie family as possible suspects. That includes all siblings and their houses. Sheriff Chris Nano said in a statement that, quote, the family has been nothing but cooperative and gracious and are victims in this case. To suggest otherwise is not only wrong, it is cruel. With the family cleared, investigators remain focused on the evidence. The suspense at this hour centers around forensics. Specifically, police are awaiting DNA results from a glove found 2 miles from Guthrie's home. That would not seem significant. Authorities have found at least 16 gloves in their search, many of them belonging to other searchers, but the FBI says this one is different. It appears to visually match the glove of the masked suspect in that surveillance video from Guthrie's front door camera. Now, testing is underway to find the person who wore it. And
Wait, did you guys hear about how they found 16 sets of gloves in like a 3-mile radius of Nancy's house? And it come to find out, it was all of the volunteers that were help searching for her, doing like the grid searches. They were just taking their gloves off and throwing them. No one stopped that, right? No one stopped that. No one saw one person and try to correct that. Like, no, you shouldn't be. First of all, don't let a bug. And secondly, that's a problem. That's a problem for the investigation. All of a sudden, they're coming down to the fact that like there's gloves being thrown and they're picking them up and they're searchers. They have nothing to do with the person of interest, people of interest. TMZ's getting more notes. Like,
police aren't just focusing on the gloves from that video. The Pima County Sheriff says his team is consulting with Walmart because the suspect's clothing appears to come from the retail giant. In fact, Walmart exclusively sells that 25-liter Ozark hiker backpack that the suspect was wearing in that video. Meanwhile, another day, another note to TMZ. They have received a fourth message from a man who says he can end all of this right now and reveal the kidnapper's identity. This time, he's even hinting, again, all without proof, that Nancy Guthrie is south of the border. He is reiterating his demand for $50,000 in Bitcoin up front for that information. In just a moment,
What are you guys' thoughts on this? Is this like, do you think that the notes going to TMZ are a hoax and it's someone being funny? Like this, you know? Because why on earth, if it's real, hasn't anything been produced? There's 4 letters going to TMZ, to Harvey Levin, the Epstein co-conspirator. There's things going to him, and that's totally normal. I think it's a whole. I think the notes are a bunch of bull. And well, I think we're gonna get into it. But Harvey's like, you're if this is a lie, you're committing like a big fraud here.
I'll speak live with TMZ's co-executive producer about this brand new message. As this search surpasses 2 weeks, Today Show host Savannah Guthrie put out another public plea, this time speaking directly to the person who has her mother.
And I wanted to say to whoever has her or knows where she is that it's never too late. And you're not lost or alone. And it is never too late to do the right thing.
All right, let's get our coverage started with News Nation's Brian Enton live for us on the ground in Tucson outside Nancy Guthrie's home. Brian, what are you seeing at this hour?
Elizabeth, I have some brand new reporting that I just confirmed in the last couple of minutes, and that is that FBI agents have been to several gun stores right here in the Tucson area. And when they show up to the gun stores, I have learned that they have 40 names and 40 photographs that they are showing employees of the gun stores and asking them if any of those people have been inside the store or if any of those people have purchased weapons. So that's brand new. Again, we confirmed that. In terms of the DNA testing, there's a lot evolving there too. News Nation's Libby Dean has confirmed that the DNA that was pulled off of a glove about 2 miles from where I'm standing outside Nancy Guthrie's house, the DNA has yet to be put into the CODIS FBI database, but that it is going to be happening soon, which is significant because once they get it into the database, at that point, they will be able to cross-reference it against other criminals who are in that database and perhaps maybe make a match. And lastly, Elizabeth, remember Friday night, there was that big FBI raid that we were at. There were no arrests made, but I am told not to think that that is totally off the table yet in terms of possibly being connected.
You know what I think is Rich? They pulled that guy over, right? Took his phones, everything. Then they let him go, and then shortly after that, they raided this house. So I wonder if all of these people they found they're one by one trying to go in a line to get more information about the person that they're actually looking for. Like I said, my StreamYard's all messed up, so I'm gonna read it from my phone, you guys. I'm so far behind. Wow, I said a cartel took her 2 weeks ago. You did, didn't you, Scotty? Hi, Real V Dot. I'm so behind on all this. Damn, yeah, us too. Who's up here? Christine, Crafty Chris says if they had secured the scene properly, they could have a trash collection can at the exit. Yeah, that's what they should have done. Calypso says, I think they are legit as well. Hi, John Smith. Hi, birthday twin. Says, I think he is just trying to get money on the internet, hoping he doesn't get caught. I agree. Yep. Crafty Chris says, TMZ just wants to cash in. Making said, I think it was just 1 or maybe 2. I'd say it was a hoax. Yeah, I think so too. Crackers Wax said JLR did it. I can't. Scotty says in Mexico you can get any meds at a store, so it's very possible she's alive. That's true. I feel for her. She looks like she's been through hell the past 2 weeks. Birthday twin. I have to agree with you. Calypso says, I think she's alive. This was well planned. I hope she is. From your lips to God's ears. Crafty Chris says, when I heard 16 gloves were found, my first thought was that they were planted. How come none were found before the video? I agree. It says, Wayne, hold out hope. She was 84 and has to take daily medicine to stay alive. I believe a body recovery the first 48 hours. Anyone missing is critical. I agree. Calypso says, I don't believe that anyone was jealous over the Olympic spot. Some of these theories are a bit, some of these theories are a stretch. I have to agree, Callie. Cartels are a business and they're about that money, says an ex-NYPD detective. Yeah. Fucking say it.
There was a federal search warrant that was conducted, which means a federal judge had to sign off on it, which means that there was some meat on the bones there, I'm told, in terms of how that home and those people could have possibly been connected to the Nancy Guthrie investigation, and that they are still going over the evidence right now, electronics, and that there was even DNA taken. So I'm told to be patient on that front, that there could still be more coming soon, Elizabeth.
Brian, who are these 40 people, these pictures that the FBI is taking to local gun stores? Do we know?
We don't know the names, but again, we just confirmed this. So they have 40 names and 40 pictures. Does that mean that there are 40 persons of interest?
If they're doing the genealogy thing, right? If they're doing the genealogy thing, that those could be people within the family DNA tree, right? Because I was watching something, I think it was on News Nation last night. They had a genealogy DNA expert on, and they were saying that they were trying to do that, and it can take, in this case, up to 48 hours. I was just looking at your message, Wayne. It could take a little bit, but maybe the 40 people are 40 somewhat relatives of the people whose DNA was found at the house.
40 people that they're interested in? Are they putting some pictures and names in there just to sort of, that aren't even involved, just to kind of like, throw people off a little bit? We don't know, but I do know that we've confirmed several gun shops. They say the FBI agents have shown up with 40 names and 40 photos.
And like, can we just be real? No cartel people are like going to a gun shop to get a gun. All right. Like, listen, I'm not even that street anymore. And I know people get ones that fall off the truck, if you know what I'm saying. They didn't go to a gun shop. Come on, use your head.
This is just within the last couple of days, and I've asked them whether they have been inside the shop or whether they have purchased a gun.
All right, if you manage to learn from your sources how they landed on those 40 people, come give us a wave. We'll bring you back. That is intriguing information.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe.
Enough, Como. Enough. Let me go back here. Hold on. Here we go. This was an hour ago. Hold on. Let's pull this up, kids. Let's pull it up.
Executive producer Charles Latibaudiere for more now on that brand new email from a man claiming to know Guthrie's kidnapper. Charles, great to have you yet again, I guess. What time did this note come in today? And did it come in the same way the others have through this anonymous tip line?
Yes, came in the same way. By the way, I just want to say,
Makings, I just saw your comment. It says the investigation sloppier than the crime. I believe that about the John O'Keefe murder. I think that with that, had they just gotten him help, we wouldn't even be in this pickle. But they fucking panicked, and the cover up was sloppy, and is probably worse than what the actual crime was. Not that like it's worse than murder, but what I'm saying is it looks a lot worse, seems a lot worse. These people are disgusting, depraved people. If they had just like owned up to it, we wouldn't be in this predicament. But here we are, right? Hi, Standing. Hi, Rosie. Honey, my StreamYard's acting up. I can't pull up comments, but I'm looking.
Elizabeth, that's great reporting by Brian there. But that is remarkable information about a list of 40 people.
Yeah, I think we're going to be heading out to the gun stores shortly to ask people who those 40 people are.
I've got 100 questions. But yes, this note, the latest one we got, came in the same way that the other 3 came in on through our tip line email inbox, and came in last night just before midnight. And this time, there's a little more information. Now, you'll remember on Friday when we got the last one, they said that was the last time you're going to hear from me. 3 strikes and you're out. What prompted this one? They say right off the top.
Well, and you know what too, Saiba kid, the family's home that they or the raid that they did the other night, not the one that got pulled over with the family doing the DoorDash, but the other ones, the 4 that were detained. I think it was one woman and 4 men. They were driving a 2025 Range Rover. They weren't hurting for money. Miss me with that theory, kids. Miss me with that. They weren't looking for money.
To say, I saw Savannah's latest video and my heart goes out to her. It really does. But I cannot turn myself in, leaving my family unprotected and broke, especially now that I'm being hunted. So this person is saying that basically whoever's connected to the kidnapping or the kidnapper or kidnappers are on the hunt for them because they're aware that that they may be coming forward with information. So they feel that their lives are in danger. Now, the other.
But like, if they're already suspecting this guy is spilling the beans, he's already in a predicament. Okay, if it really has to do with the cartel, if it really has to do with that, because the thing is, okay, so let me take this back a moment. It doesn't matter. The cartel wants money. It doesn't matter how much money they have. They still want money. Apparently, Savannah allegedly, her husband has direct connections to Epstein. There's a whole thing. Okay. There's a whole thing. There's so many theories running about that are so like far-fetched, but like, as we know, being Karen Reed people, that the crazier the story is does not mean that it can't be legit, right? I've said this since the beginning. I'm happy that Tommaso fella, the son-in-law, got cleared, because can you imagine being him? Can you imagine being him? Because you put yourself in his shoes. People were trying to chop his head off because they're like, oh, it had to have been him. That poor man. If it wasn't, he's scarred for life. People are always going to side eye him if this woman especially is not found and justice is not served.
The other thing they made a second reference to is Mexico. Remember on Friday, there's.
Oh, my birthday twin, John Smith, says the one deputy who interviewed with Enton today said most of the people with experience had quit and retired due to the sheriff's ego. I believe that. Side note, did you see Matthew? Oh, I something's blocking. In other words, I have to wait for it to come up. All right, let's keep going. I'll have to read that after because I can't see all of it.
There's a part of the note that said, be prepared to go international. Well, in this one, they say, I know what I saw 5 days ago south of the border, and I was told to shut up, so I know who he is, and that was definitely Nancy with them. So another reference to the fact that according to them, there's more than one person involved here. But they're saying that they saw Nancy last week in Mexico.
Oh, Matthew Farwell. Yeah. So it says, okay, so if you guys don't know, Matthew Farwell was arrested for the murder of Sandra Birchmore, and he is now in federal lockup. He was arrested by the FBI. They had been, the man's a monster. And I had heard a couple weeks ago that he was trying to get his case moved out of Massachusetts to Rhode Island. I did not know that he's asking first case to be dismissed for March 5th. I can't. I hope he doesn't. I hope they don't. God, that story. I could go on about that story too. We should start covering that one like extensively over here. I think it needs more. Maybe I'll start doing that.
Mexico with her captors.
Hi, Rita. Welcome in. I'm so happy that you're here with us. Welcome into the Bad Kids Club. You're in detention now.
Charles, they said last week in Mexico, or if she's
Yeah,
been
they
missing
said
now
5
16
days
days.
ago.
So 5 days
So-
ago, he saw her in Mexico with the kidnappers, and that obviously she was alive.
Right. That's certainly the way they're making it sound. Now, that would have been Wednesday. And it's interesting, the very first note we got was on Wednesday. So they came consecutive days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then finally, and then this most recent one on Sunday night. I don't, you know.
You've turned this in. You've turned this into the FBI.
Yes.
Who knows if this is a hoax or not? Somebody's expending a lot of time and energy.
Rosie, I agree. Farwell has a hearing to have his case dismissed on March 5th. It's not going to happen. He wasn't the father, but that don't mean shit. He thought he was, and that's all the intent we need.
Energy communicating though, and sending you these emails. If it's a hoax. It was interesting. Harvey Levin, your co-executive producer, made a direct address earlier today to whoever this is, saying, if you're for real, send us the information and we'll send it to the FBI if you're afraid of having the FBI know your identity.
Yeah, this was, you know, and look, as you said, we have passed all of this information on to the FBI. In a conversation this morning with someone at the FBI, Harvey said, listen, this is what I want to do. They said, that sounds fine. We're not going to, you know, try to stop you from that. And the idea here is, because we've read now 4 of these notes and we've gone over them, and what is very clear, the theme throughout all of them is that they feel that the FBI doesn't trust them, and they certainly don't trust the FBI in that they feel that they would be arrested and that the FBI would not give them the reward when it's all said and done. So,
But like, how about you just like say, why can't you just be a good human and tell us where the Nancy is? An 84-year-old woman hasn't slept in her own bed on nearly 3 weeks, and this guy is concerned. Tell them where she is. If you are real, tell them where she is. I have no sympathy for this. None. You're just as bad as the people who took her. Time's ticking. Listen, if she's really insulin dependent and they did not get insulin from her, it's not looking good, right? But my friends over here, I think it was Wayne or John Smith, said, oh, well, maybe they brought it to Mexico because they can get whatever they need, right?
what we're trying to do is to bridge that and get this information. And that's why Harvey made this video appealing to them, saying, send us the information. We will give it to the FBI. And now you have a public record that it is your information that led to, if they're, you know, if they're for real, it's your information that led to the capture of the kidnappers. And therefore, we would be able to say this person deserves the reward. You know, I don't know if they're gonna go for that.
No, he deserved the award. The first ransom note when he was trying to, this was, let's put this into context for a second. This man wrote over a week ago that he knew where this woman is and has not turned over her location. There has been no sighting that she's even alive, and this guy is fucking with people, sending shit to Harvey Levin. If this was real, he would contact law enforcement directly. Exactly, John Smith. You know, it's the birthday thing. We both know.
And to this point, we've heard nothing, but is it a desperate attempt? Certainly. But I think even as you heard Savannah say, we are in desperate times. And if this person is legit, why not get that information? If they're, by the way, and then Harvey said this in the video also, if you don't have the information, well, this is criminal fraud and you're in big trouble.
You're in big trouble. That's a crime, what you're doing.
Exactly.
All right. Interesting that whoever sent this claimed to have been very moved by Savannah's video that came out late yesterday or yesterday. A lot of people were moved by it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Heartbreaking what this family is going through. Charles Laudabodiere, thank you so much for coming on yet again. Really.
Yeah, I just read that, Wayne. I did hear that too. That apparent. Okay, so listen, I'm not hating. I'm just gonna make a point by saying John much horrific shit happens every single day that never get reported on ever for no reason, or it gets a 2-minute snip. How about all the Epstein victims? How about the Epstein files? How about all of the people who suffer every single day? How about the people who have been missing for years? How about the people who are found dead on the street and they're clearly not by self-infliction or anything like that, and they never get any type of airtime, not ever. Do you know what I mean? And all of a sudden, our president is saying that he's going to go for the death penalty. Well, how about the death penalty for all of the people who are missing, who get unalived, right? I'm not saying that she's unalive, but you see what I'm saying. You understand where I'm going with this, right, kids? I just, the whole high profile case thing is a little tough. I understand it. And I do understand, right? It captures people's hearts or whatever, but there are so many horrific things that happen to people every single day that don't even get airtime whatsoever. I can't, you look at Crusher, for instance, her family. And look what happened to them too with YouTubers. They got exploited and all the things. Oh, wait. Crack is whack. You still here? We have a press conference about the Rhode Island hockey shooting at 9:30. I'm going to put a little something on. Let me do... We didn't really listen to this, so I'm going to put it on while...
Receives a fourth demand email from the man claiming to know who kidnapped Nancy Guthrie and even claims to know where she is. Welcome to the Noon and Bianca Peters. This news unfolding as we are coming on air right now. Fox 5's Antoine Lewis is following these new developments. Antoine, what's going on here?
Literally unfolding. Literally within the last 15 minutes or so, we started to scramble once and put a plan in place once we found out about this. But TMZ says that the note appears to be from the same person who emailed them at least 3 earlier times claiming to have information. Here's what we know so far. TMZ revealed details of this note again this morning, adding that it appears to be from the same sender as 3 earlier notes it received with the same Bitcoin account that was used in previous demands for payment in exchange for information. This time, however, executive producer Harvey Levin went in a slightly different direction,
Bad Dazzler, always a pleasure to have you in here, honey. And listen, this is so true. There are over 26,000 people reported missing so far this year. Yeah, but the president is looking to hang for this one. Why this one? How about the girl who lost her life to some guy when she's trying to walk home from work in Boston a few nights ago that was beaten and assaulted by a man? That caught 3 minutes. You never heard about it again. Does he get the death penalty too? Inquiring minds want to know. Hi, Cincy. Hi, honey. Good to see you, babe.
a message on their website directly to the note sender saying if they are legitimate, share the information on Nancy Guthrie's whereabouts with TMZ so they can pass this information along directly to the FBI. Now, here's Levin reading some of what the note says.
And in this letter, it says, I know what I saw 5 days ago south of the border, and I was told to shut up, so I know who he is, and that was definitely Nancy with them.
Now, this news comes as the FBI is awaiting DNA test results on a glove found about 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's home. One they say appears to match gloves that you see there worn by the suspect caught on door cam video the night that Nancy Guthrie disappeared. Over the weekend, authorities detained several people for questioning and confiscated an SUV from a nearby restaurant parking lot, according to multiple reports. However, no one was arrested. Officials have increased the reward and information in this case to $100,000 as they release more details about the suspect in that video, identifying the type of backpack that he was wearing as an Ozark trail hiker backpack from Walmart. These developments come as Today Show host Savannah Guthrie has made.
Dude, Walmart has as many security cameras as a fucking casino. Okay. I'm going to guess that he's probably, not from like the Northeast where they'd have to search every single, Cincy, they're wicked sketchy. They would have to search every single Walmart, right? They probably, you call each one, you put a mass thing out. Can you please check your cameras? Like in Massachusetts up here, we don't sell ammunition and guns up here. Okay. It's not how Massachusetts rolls. New Hampshire, on the other hand, you can go to New Hampshire and you can purchase all of that. So there's a process of elimination. Who sells guns and ammunition? Who?
Another video appeal to the person responsible for her mother's disappearance.
To whoever has her or knows where she is, that it's never too late. And you're not lost or alone. And it is never too late to do the right thing. And we are here. We believe.
Wait, does anyone know this answer? Do we know if the more than the $300 was deposited into the Bitcoin account at some point as like a good faith effort? Does anybody know? Because remember there was like the deadline of the ransom and then they put in $300 and it went through or something like that, $150. And then all of a sudden he's still writing notes and he's demanding money and doesn't want to produce any evidence that she's alive or give them anything to go on. And he doesn't want to be a good person either to just say, you know what, like I can be broke and this elderly 84-year-old woman needs to come home, do the right thing, right? Not everything's about money. Sometimes integrity matters. Actually, I'd rather have integrity than money. Personally, right?
As of today, the search for Nancy Guthrie has entered its third week. The FBI says it has received thousands of tips, but investigators have yet to determine a prevailing motive behind her disappearance. Again, she was first reported missing on February the 1st. Bianca, last seen January 31st, the day before. We'll send things back over to you.
Yeah, so many questions waiting to be answered. We'll see what happens with this one, Antoine. Thanks so much.
Oh man. Day 16. Oh, this is back to kind of what we're talking about the Pawtucket. It was two
tracking breaking
news that so he killed two of his family members. I mean, maybe they were fucking nasty assholes who didn't agree with his lifestyle and the guy snapped. I just you can't, right? Why can't people just be normal, right? Let people live how you want to live. Just because you don't want to sleep with a woman or just because you don't want to sleep with a male doesn't mean that you get to stick your fucking nose into what other people are doing. If you care that much about how other people are having sex with, there's something wrong with you. You should self-reflect. Calypso says, I was going to say the same thing. Great way to distract from the Epstein list. Yep. And the president having comments on this. How many moms are missing in America? Fucking preach it, Calypso. I know they found BTK from a picture he sent to police. Yep, that he sure did. But he was asking to be caught, right? So sorry, not to take away from the family's trauma. No, but this is like, listen, this is why I don't actively seek out family members, because I want to be able to talk freely and not have a skewed look at reality and not have a skewed look on things. I think to myself, like, how many people are missing? How many people's children are missing? How many people get gunned down or stabbed or tortured or held in basements, right? And you never hear about this stuff. Why is the president speaking on this? Why? I have questions after like 30 years. Yeah. Yeah, my mother would be plastered over everything. Yeah. Yeah. I was saying, like, I would plaster it everywhere, but my mom missing would get the 3-minute snippet on the 10 o'clock news in Boston, and that's it. That's all you'd hear. That's all you'd hear. You wouldn't hear anything more.
A shooting in the middle of a hockey game at
Okay. So let's go back to this, because they're gonna have a presser soon that we're gonna watch at 9:30. It's in 5 minutes. So a high school hockey tournament was going on in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, and a shooter comes in and he shot up the tournament. Apparently it was a domestic. It says in this, we're going to listen to it. Apparently it was family members and himself. He turned the gun on himself. And apparently his son was one of the students that were at the hockey rink, which is tragic within itself, right? You never want to see a parent acting up like this, right? There's so many things going on with this story. And I hope, is him turning the gun. And it was the son hiding in plain sight. Yeah. Rita, he wants the subject to change from his problem. Yeah, I am 100% on board with that, Rita. Oh, he killed his ex-wife. So not only was his son there and watched his father gun down people, but it was his mother too. Can you imagine? Is this going to be national news? No, it won't.
Lynch Arena in Pawtucket. 2 people dead. The shooter also dead tonight, and 3 in the hospital in critical condition.
Let's go live to Sheena Lasciuto, who is in Pawtucket, with an update. Sheena.
We just witnessed something that will really stay with us and speak to the situation here. A student hockey player.
Oh, Crack is Wax saying it, just a guess. Yeah, I mean, if he was married to the mother at one point, or if the mother was there with the son and she wouldn't let him see the son for whatever reasons, like there's a lot to unpack there. I don't know. I was just making a point, I guess.
Dressed in his hockey gear, or at least his jersey, stepped out of a Pawtucket police cruiser and then went into a car that's been at this parking lot at the arena since the tragedy and since everything unfolded hours ago today. You can see this area still blocked off.
I'm going to put a bet. I think that when we see this press conference coming up with the law enforcement, who thinks that there was a manifesto left behind? I do.
Police still here investigating, really looking for any clues to figure out what exactly happened. A lot of people impacted by this, many school community members, and the mayor says they are doing their very best to offer resources to people who are here for that. And I know 12 News reporter and anchor Kim Kalunian has been talking to many people firsthand who really witnessed and went through this themselves. She's on the other side of the arena from where we are right now. Kim, what are you seeing right now?
Yeah, Sheena, as we've been reporting, it's quieted down here, but there is still crime scene tape ringing the parking lot that was filled earlier with dozens and dozens of people who were inside Lynch Arena when those gunshots rang out. We spoke to 2 of the players who said at first they didn't know what they were hearing.
Rita, yes. So from what I gather, the gunman's dead. I don't know if someone else killed him or he turned the gun on himself, but he is dead. Yes. Yeah.
One of them thought it was balloons, and then they heard that noise, that popping sound, that banging sound over and over over again.
Also, Rita, he was a dad of one of the students that were at the hockey tournament that was for high school aged boys hockey. They flooded this arena for the tournament today, and this man who was a dad, he was a trans dad, went in and shot 2 of his family members, and what I'm guessing would be turning the gun on himself as well, in front of his son, in front of the son's friends.
They rushed off the ice. People sought cover and they rushed out of that arena, some of them into nearby storefronts to try and seek cover. As I mentioned, it's quieter here now. A lot of the police cruisers that were here on Broad Street and the ambulances have now gone. We did just see the Pawtucket Police crime scene investigation truck pull down this street here towards the arena. And my photographer, Corey Welch, also spotted an FBI agent here on scene as well. So just to speak to the nature of the investigation and the fact that it is still in its early stages and will be ongoing here, I would assume through much of the night and probably into the coming days as we work to learn more about exactly what unfolded here inside. We'll send it back to you.
In WBZ News Prime Time, with the breaking news we continue to follow in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. 3 people are dead tonight, including the shooter after a gunman opened fire at a high school hockey game. 3 others were wounded, all of them in critical condition. This all happening less than 5 miles from the Brown University campus, also shaken by a deadly shooting in December. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Courtney Cole. Now, the game, it involved teams that combined a host of Rhode Island towns together. And tonight, police believe this shooting may all stem from a family dispute. We have team coverage tonight, beginning with WBZ's Brandon Truitt live at Lynch Arena in Pawtucket. Brandon.
Well, Courtney, Lynch Arena is really a staple for the local hockey community, and playing here is really a rite of passage. They were celebrating senior night here when police say a family dispute turned this storied venue into a crime scene, and tonight 3 people are dead because of it. Tonight, a Rhode Island community shattered by gun violence. A boys' high school hockey game at Lynch Arena in Pawtucket was in the first period. Players on the ice when shots rang out. Rapid gunfire, nearly a dozen rounds, filling the arena around 2:30 Monday afternoon. Spectators and players running for their lives. Pawtucket police say this appears to stem from a family dispute. In all, the suspect shot 5 people before turning the gun on himself. When police arrived, they found the gunman and a female victim dead inside. Another victim died at the hospital. 3 others remain in critical condition.
I mean, can you believe it? Can you believe it? I'm going to put my money on ex-wife and new boyfriend. We'll have to find out.
It's a family dispute. I don't know the relationship exactly at this point because it's still initial, but yes, it is family related.
The place was packed when shots were fired. People ran out of the arena into nearby businesses. Video from inside one of them shows players running in with their skates on. Olin Lawrence was one of them.
I heard a couple gunshots go off. I thought it was balloons at first. It was loud, and then it kept going on. So I ran right into the locker room after I got off the ice. I'm overwhelmed, but I'm just trying to stay calm. I'm very nervous. I was just trying to process everything.
The 16-year-old Coventry High School goalie has grown up in the age of active shooter drills, but he never thought a hockey game would serve as a scene for this.
You don't know what it feels like until you're actually in it. It's very scary.
Parents scrambling to find their kids, some of them meeting out back when the dust settled. Others were put on buses and taken to reunification sites.
It just doesn't happen at ice rinks. So it's very it's shocking. I've skated here my whole life, as well as my son.
Really, a lot of the parents shaken up. Some I could hear crying that the shooter was sitting behind them, next to them, not knowing what was about to happen.
Police continue to process the scene, families returning one by one to get their cars and head home, many wiping tears from their faces as the reality of what unfolded here sets in.
You're thinking about these are high school kids that were doing an event. They were playing, with their families watching fun time, and it turned into this. So it's got to be traumatic.
The police chief says that it appears that people in the stands tried to intervene when this gunman opened fire, but it's unclear what, if any, difference it ultimately made. 3 people remain in the hospital in critical condition. The names and ages of the victims are not being released. We're live in Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Oh my God, kids. What is happening in this world? Our kids aren't safe. That's just like what it comes down to. Our kids are not safe. Oh, right here. I have this pulled up. Officials are going to, the officials are going to take questions. Oh my God. This should be happening any moment now. Sorry guys, I didn't have a plan for tonight. I just like wanted to jump on. I was gonna go through just like the Guthrie thing, and then I was like, no, there's just like too much to talk about. I mean, there's like so much that we could sit here and shoot the shit about. But this is, oh, here we go. Here we go, kids.
And we see all too often throughout our country. Family and friends were gathered today at a hockey game at Lynch Arena to celebrate the senior night, bringing together communities from across the state. Instead, an act of senseless violence has taken the lives of 2 innocent victims, with the suspect taking his own life. 3 other victims are now in the hospital fighting for their lives. Our prayers go out to the victims, to the families, and everyone impacted by this devastating incident. I understand the media, our community want answers about what happened.
It won't go up any further.
In coordination with the Attorney General's office and other law enforcement agencies are in the middle of an active investigation. They have already interviewed more than 100 witnesses and are reviewing multiple videos of the shooting. We are all committed to transparency and will share more details as we get them confirmed. We'll hear from the chief in a couple of minutes, have a couple of updates from earlier today, and that update will be the last that we have for this evening, and hopefully we'll be able to update you some more. This here is also about working with the victims and working with the state. Talk to the governor's office, the attorney.
You guys, I don't know what's going on. It's as high as it goes. Clearly, he doesn't like. I don't think the mic that we're listening to. Hold on, let me see if I can get a different feed. Hold on. Here we go.
And their families for grief counseling. Pawtucket is a resilient community.
Is that better?
We are city in mourning. We encourage everyone, students, parents, educators, to lean on one another for support when the situation unfolds. Together, we need to embrace. Visitor Center located at 175 Main Street at 12 o'clock to 7 tomorrow, and then for individuals who were present during the shooting and their families for grief counseling. Pawtucket is a resilient community, but tonight we are city in mourning. We encourage everyone, students, parents, educators, to lean on one another for support when the situation unfolds. Together, we need to embrace resiliency while we're fostering the environment of compassion prevails overall. We will do our best to keep the public and the media informed as the investigation unfolds. Finally, and I know the chief will also go on this, if anyone has any information relevant to today's shooting, you've seen all these videos, please call the Pawtucket Police Department who are handling the investigation. The number is 401-727-9100. I'd like to turn it over for the chief for a minute.
Good evening. So today, Pawtucket Police received a call for an active shooter about 2:30 p.m. Police were on scene within a minute and a half of that call. It appears that a lone individual, the suspect, entered the arena to watch the hockey game of a family member And unfortunately, during that time, a shooting occurred. We have confirmed that the suspect is now deceased. Also, there are 2 victims that have also been confirmed deceased. And then we have 3 victims that are still at the hospital in critical condition. We have worked tirelessly with local police departments here in the state, also our federal partners and our state partners with the Attorney General's office also. We have given you the information that I had earlier today. I can tell you that we have interviewed people that were in the stadium, watching the game, participating in the game. We probably had about 100 people within the station that we talked to. We can also tell you that a Good Samaritan stepped in and interjected in this scene, and that's probably what led to a swift end of this tragic event earlier today. So at that time, like I said, we have more information as the time goes on. We'll be able to share that with you. I did share with you earlier today the information we had at that point. The only thing we have to add again is that we have interviewed many people that were there. We're also accepting videos it was live streamed videos from parents that were videoing their kids while they were playing the game. So we ask you to obviously take those videos, forward them to the detectives. It's Detective Webb, like the mayor said, 401-727-9100, extension 1711. We also have 211 set up for any kind of emotional support that people may need within the city. Again, we're here to assist, so anything that we can do to kind of assist the community out there. And again, any information that you have that you think may be relevant, we ask that you share it with us, because again, we're not sure exactly what videos were out there and who was videotaping at the time, but that's the information that we have at this point. What I can say is that he interjected and he attempted to subdue him. So that is all part of, like I said, during the investigation, but I can tell you that a Good Samaritan did step in. So again, like I said earlier today, I can identify that there was one lone suspect, that this was a targeted event. It looked like it was a family dispute, and there was one individual that was a family friend. But as for identifying the victims at this time, it's too early in the investigation to identify people, because obviously we want to make sure that their families are well aware of what's going on before we put it out to the public. Again, what I can tell you is that the suspect did have a firearm. As to how many firearms he had, that's all part of the investigation, and that information will be released later.
Were those firearms retrieved at the scene, found at the scene?
We did retrieve firearms on the scene.
Did any type of a restraining order or any type of threats that this suspect may have made against any members?
So that has not come to our attention. During the initial stages of the investigation, we haven't seen that, but again, it's very early on. It just happened earlier today, so we are investigating that. We're looking at all avenues. If there was any motivation, if there was any type of incident leading up to that, we don't have any of that information at this time that we know of. So as that develops, obviously, we will look into that and fully investigate that.
Was this
Again, we're not going to release the victims at this point because, you know, the privacy of the victims and their families, but that information will come out later.
Initially, the thought was it was all members of the same family. Is there now a family friend part of this one?
Correct. Correct.
Was the suspect known to police at all? Have you guys had any prior interactions with them?
Pawtucket has not had prior interactions. No.
As for the suspect, can you confirm whether the suspect's a male, female? We've heard that is a transgender person. Is that something that you have in terms of information?
So what I can say right now that we have identified the person, the suspect, by a birth name. The birth name was Robert Dorgan. We have also learned that the person does go by the name of Roberta, also uses a last name of Esposito. But again, that will be all confirmed throughout the course of the investigation. As to their status, that really doesn't have anything to do with the investigation.
Do you have an age? An age of the suspect?
1969 he was born.
Do you know if the gun was legally purchased?
At this time, it's still part of the investigation. So we will be investigating the firearms, where they come from, where they were purchased, and whether or not they had a permit to carry.
Was the van that was towed away from the scene, the white van, did that belong to the suspect?
Anything that was towed from the scene is obviously, we believe that it might be involved in some way. So as part of the investigation, we are taking all precautions to make sure that we investigate all evidence that we may feel that was part of the scene today.
Mayor, have you been in touch with Governor McKee? Is there a reason he isn't here tonight?
Yes, no, we've been in touch. He's I'm sorry. He's been supporting, as well as the Attorney General and many others. We'll be briefing each other tomorrow with everyone, and probably doing a joint statement at some point. But yes, the state has been very active and involved, as well as many of the other mayors who are in these other communities. So we've been having those conversations, and we're sharing as much information as we can, and then we're all going to collectively get together.
I imagine you both can answer this question as far as the mutual aid that was tapped. I know there was a few different jurisdictions that were brought in for, as well as first responders. If you could speak to just the group team effort that it kind of took to process the scene and make sure the victims were treated as such.
So when the call initially came in, obviously we dispatched the police department, which I said was there within a minute and a half of the actual active shooter. And the fire department, once it was safe for them to come in, they administered aid, also with our police officers inside administered aid. I can tell you that most of the departments that responded to mutual aid were more administrative aid. They helped us secure the scene. They helped us on the outpost. And again, there were so many departments that came to our aid. It was phenomenal to see all the assistance that we had, whether it be our local partners, our state partners, and our federal partners. As soon as they heard a call for service, they all came. So again, tomorrow we'll be touching base with all of them, but most of them were on administrative aid outside of the scene. So that will all depend on the investigation, but at this point it is closed.
Can you detail like our timeline? Was he there for a while and then started shooting, you believe, or did he come in?
So that's all part of the investigation. Obviously, we're going to develop a timeline, but at this point it's too early on to be able to release that to the public. But we are developing a timeline of presence and how long he had been there for. What I said was all part of the investigation, and then we'll determine that later. But at this point, we're not going to give up how many weapons the person had. Correct.
What do the next 24 hours look like for the department?
So really, like I said, we're still at the initial stages of the investigation. So after we have spoken to many, many victims and witnesses today, we're going to obviously collect all that information. The detectives will meet together. We'll have a debriefing. They'll compare all the information. We'll reach out to family. We'll try to establish a timeline like we spoke about. Whether or not there's any motive, we'll try to talk to different people. So it's going to be a very busy next 24, 48 hours trying to gather the story, right? We want to make sure that the information that we're given is factual and it's accurate, and that we're not going off of hearsay or things that are on social media. Unfortunately, because social media is so popular, things get out there that may be necessarily not true. So we're trying to quell those kind of rumors and make sure that all the information that we're putting out there is factual. So the victims are at the hospital. We have detectives stationed there, but as of right now, we don't have statements from them.
Chief, so you confirmed, so was there a training for active shooter actually going on in the city which helped with the response?
So we did have an initial training that was separate and apart from this, a normal training within the city for a police department.
But that helped with the response time.
We had several members that were here on training on days off. So we had additional members, we had additional members of the police department that were around. So the response was immediate. Obviously it's right next to the police station. Like I said, we were there within a minute and a half. So again, I don't want to get into the family ties, because again, they do have an expectation of privacy and a right of privacy. And we'd like to, be able to honor that. It's a tragic event for everybody that was there today, but especially a family. There were so many family members there that were part of this incident. So again, we respect their privacy and we're trying to work with them. Thank you.
Retrieved any type of either diary or journal or video or confession that the shooter came from?
It's too early in the investigation. Thank you very much. I'll give it back to Nathan.
No, but thank you. Again, hearts go out to the families. This is about trying to grieve as the police do their investigation, and we will release as much information as soon as we have it. So thank you. Appreciate you.
Well, that was tragic. Christine said that online, Crafty Chris says that he unalived his ex-wife and adult daughter. He had 2 pink pew-pews, allegedly. Scotty says, actually, I had that pulled up. They will probably change the category from mass shooter to a domestic incident. Yeah. It should be both, Calypso. Exactly. Yeah. This poor kid, his son, probably the only living person in the family, watched his potentially watched his mother, his sister, and his father get killed in front of him at his senior hockey game. Crack, where was he from? Yeah, you would hope it would be both, Calypso. I mean, shit's wild. Yeah, the story just keeps getting worse. Pawtucket, they always call like that, like an armpit, like Woonsocket. Problem with that is for statistical purposes. That's a game the big bosses play. Yeah, they don't want mass shooting. They just had one. Yeah, I read it, actually. I can pull it back up. They just had the Brown shooting, which was a 5-minute drive from where the ice rink was. It was very close, so they don't want another one of that. Yeah, Turtle Boy wrote on this an hour ago. I can pull that up and let's watch it. Hold on. Actually, hold on. God, what am I doing? What am I doing, kids? I can't get my shit together. Turtle Boy news. Here we go. I have to pull up Facebook, I think. 2 miles. Yeah, Crack is Whack knows. Let me get this out of here. Oh, I don't want to do a status. That's not what we wanted to do, kids. Turtle Boy news. Here we go. All right, let me share my screen. I'll have to read it to you. I'll have to read it to you. Let me put this up. All right. Turtle Boy, he wrote on this 2 hours ago. Turtle Boy says, sources are reporting that the person who shot up a hockey game in Pawtucket today, killing 3 people, is a transgender dad who goes by the name Roberta Esposito. This is going to be a popsicle headache for some people, but he appears to be a diehard Trump supporter who has been warning other conservatives on Twitter not to badmouth trans people. Just yesterday, he warned at Alex Jones that we, transgender people, are going to go berserk if people keep bashing men like him. I'll have more on this later. The alleged Pawtucket mass shooter says he got the surgery, but that other trans people are commie assholes who don't speak for him, and he loves Trump. John DePietro is missing the story of his lifetime in his backyard because he's playing hide and seek with JLR in the desert. Holy moly. I mean, listen, just because he's trans, I mean, if it's, I hate to make it about trans, gay, a Trump supporter, a non-Trump supporter, commies. Like, I get what he's saying. But this man was clearly mentally ill. I mean, you don't go to your son's hockey game and light up the place with pew-pews. You know what's so funny? I say words sometimes like YouTubers because they're like pew pew, or I'll say unalived or something, but I say all the words here. When he murdered. Hey, Rob, it's always a pleasure, babe. Me and you still need to stream together. I hate for it to be like that, but if you have to state all of the facts about like what's going on, then, you know, he stated all the facts. But at the same time, like, what was we're gonna speculate. I'm gonna put my speculation banner up, kids, because we are going, all accusations are alleged. because the speculation station and we judge around here. Nobody goes into a room full of people, an entire arena rink of people, and shoot up the place. Okay. He shot his wife and 3 children. Oh shit. He shot his ex-wife, I'm assuming, and 3 children. Oh my God. So him, a child, and the ex-wife all did it. Oh my God. What does it say? Callie says, if that's a life choice, hate coming, regard when it comes to everything, no one ever agrees. Yeah, no one ever agrees on anything. No one ever agrees on anything. But like fundamentally, you can be like, this guy was a fucking wackadoodle for going into a hockey tournament on his son who was on the ice game and gunned down his mother and then turn the gun on themselves. I mean, that's a bad fucking day for his son. He should have, you didn't take your son's feelings into consideration when that's what you decide to do. And did you notice the police chief or whoever she was? She kept saying, I can't confirm how many weapons there were, but she kept saying multiple times, she was like, oh, there was multiple weapons found or the weapons found. Like, come on. Like, yeah, there's gonna be more to that story. But is there? Because he turned the gun on himself and there's no hold on, Christine sending me something. Hold on, let me see if I can pull that up, Christine. Oh, hold on. Hold on here, honey bunny. Christine's sending me the good letters. Christine. Hold on here. What's this now? All right. I am going to pull this up. Actually, I'm not even going to pull up because you guys won't be able to see it. However, I will read it. It says, father shoots wife and 3 children at Rhode Island high school hockey game before killing himself. A day of school spirit and athletic competition turned into a horror Monday when a father allegedly opened fire on his own family in the stands at a high school hockey tournament in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, killing his young daughter and critically wounding his wife and 2 other children before taking his own life. The shooting around 2:30 p.m. at Lynch Arena, approximately 11 gunshots rang out during a hockey match involving several local schools. A live stream captured the terrifying moment when spectators and players dove to the floor, unsure where the next bullet would land. Players on the bench scrambled desperately to escape, some ditching their skates as they pushed to squeeze out of the box. Others vaulted over the rink barrier and headed straight for the locker room, their faces froze in terror. A hero bystander rushed the gunman and managed to disarm him of one weapon, but the shooter had a second firearm and continued to attack. The victims, according to a source who spoke to Fox News, the gunman shot his wife, their 3 children, before turning the gun on himself. Police Chief Tina Goncalves confirms that a young girl was found dead inside the arena alongside the shooter. A second victim died in the hospital, and 3 remaining victims are in critical condition. Chief Goncalves stated that the investigators are treating the shooting as a possible family dispute, though authorities have not officially confirmed the family's relationships. A scene of panic. A nearby Walgreens became a refuge as people streamed into the store following the shooting. Employees closed the door and evacuated, with people hiding inside as staff members called 911. Brandon Mello, a local sports editor who was on the scene, described the chaos. One father at the game wrestled the gun out of the shooter's hands, but they still had a second weapon. The mayor's office confirmed that authorities were not searching for any additional suspects. Students from Coventry, Johnson, North Providence, North Smithfield high schools were all participating in the games at St. Raphael Academy and Providence Country Day School when the shooting occurred. St. Raphael Academy told local media that none of their school families were injured. Coventry's superintendent confirmed that all of the town students have been accounted for. Johnson Public Schools reported that their sole student athlete and spectator were both safe. What should have been a day of friendly competition became a nightmare that will haunt Pawtucket for generations. The image of a father turning weapons on his own children in a public place filled with families is almost too terrible to comprehend. The live stream footage will likely be studied for years, not just by investigators, but a community trying to understand how such evil could erupt amidst an ordinary life. In times of such profound darkness, words fail, but prayer never does. Please join us for praying. Please join us in praying for the families of those killed, parents, grandparents, siblings, and loved ones facing unimaginable loss, the injured victims for their physical healing and emotional recovery from trauma that will last a lifetime. The students and players who witnessed the shooting, young people will carry this memory forever. A hero bystander who risked everything to rush toward danger. First responders and medical team who worked to save lives and now carry their own trauma. The shooter's extended family, grieving the loss of loved ones while grappling in the horror of what happened. The entire Pawtucket community as they try to make sense of the senseless. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. In face of such darkness, we cling to the light of Christ and pray for his peace to surround all those affected by this tragedy. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, help is available. Call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 800-799-7233. Hashtag Pawtucket shooting. Hashtag hockey tournament. Well then. Oh my God. If that is not so fucking sad, like what is going on? That is just absolutely tragic. Like this is why I don't, he's so pissed off at someone else and he shoots his family. Can't make it up. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh man. Well, on this note, kids, I need to catch some Z's because I have work tomorrow, even though it is school vacation for baby Grunk. But it's been real. Thank you for hanging out with me for an hour and 40-ish minutes tonight. And I will be back. I'm going to be back a lot more because I'm going on, I'm having surgery next week. So once I start feeling better and I have some time, I'm going to come on during the day while Kay's at school and we can go over some stuff. Maybe we'll cover So Very Tragic on so many. Hi, Kendra. It's good to see you, baby. Yeah, it's so tragic on so many different levels. I totally agree with you. I can't pull comments up right now. Smada 02136. I love you, girl. But like I said, I'll be back. I'll be probably here during the day a lot more for a while I am recovering. I hope everyone's some wellness, some sleep. Kiss your loved ones. Love people just because you can, right? Stop spreading hate. Say a prayer for the little boy who watched his family get gunned down today by a family member, the people who were supposed to love him. Pray for his heart. Pray for his healing. Pray for all these people. All right, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.